Hi everyone, my name is Shashank Shekhar, and I'll be talking about signaling in contingent multi-agent planning. And this is joint work with Ronan Daphne and Guy Shani, and we are from Ben Gurion University, Israel. So, multi-agent planning considers multiple agents who plan and act in the same environment, like Robocup, search and rescue operations, logistics, etc. So let's consider this problem. So there is a grid-like structure. There are two agents. There are three boxes. Box 2 is a heavy box, and we can see that there are two plant trees. So in the left-hand side, it is for agent 1, and the right-hand side, it is for agent 2. I guess the joint execution is easy to see, as you can see that at each time step, there is an action for each agent to execute. But what makes such problems interesting as well as difficult to solve? So under uncertainty. So I would say that agents usually have access to their immediate environment, so they would have only partial information. And under that case, if they have to coordinate their actions, uh, when they have different states of information, the problems become difficult. Well, such problems are often modeled as deformities, and we all know that they are hard to solve and to scale up. Okay, so an alternative version of that is Qt Communities. It's a qualitative version, and it is a multi-agent planning version of contingent planning, basically. That is conceptually simpler, and it has a non-progressive structure. This scales much better than Communities. This is true at least for the deterministic action, as we have seen already in the past. Okay, and we all know that we all know that having a qualitative version has an edge, which is like we can exploit classical techniques, and we can use classical planning heuristics and adapt for Qt Communities. So let's see a joint plan tree, and this is a valid joint plan tree for this particular problem. The goal is to move all the three boxes out of the grid, and we don't know whether they are already inside the grid or outside the grid. Okay, so the requirement from such joint plan trees is if an agent must act identically if they have similar similar state of information. What do I mean to say that? We can see that in these two branches for agent 1, it can't really differentiate whether it is in the left branch or in the right branch. And this is true for agent 2 in these two branches. So we can see that in these two branches for those two nodes, agent 2 is performing the same action, as it cannot really differentiate. Fine. So we'll see previous approach. Is the first approach came in 2013, which basically introduces this model, and it solves the problem by compiling this framework into a classical planning problem. The second approach was sort of interactive process, and what it does is it allows each agent to solve some part of the problem, and next agents would try to augment the solution. So we will focus on this third approach, which came last year. It introduces Qt FP. So let's see the high-level idea of this last year's work. So we see a distributed multi-agent planning problem, and we see a centralized view of that. What do I mean to say that? If we have a centralized view, if we solve it, you will get a plan tree or a graph exactly like it is shown in the left. Okay, so the assumption is that all the observations are shared among the agents if you are taking a centralized view. So let's consider this problem. There are three agents: agent 1, agent 2, and agent 3. Two boxes. Box 2 is a heavy box that needs two agents to be pushed, and it is shown by joint push in the green box. Well, in this plan tree, actions of agent 1 are shown in black boxes, and agent 2 the actions are shown in red boxes. Green boxes show that those are joint actions performed by both agent 1 and agent 2. And in this plan, agent 3 is basically doing nothing. So what I have shown is possible team plan. So once you obtain that, what we do is we project this team plan for individual agents. So if you see for agent 1, it is going to have all those actions that were performed by agent 1 in the team plan. Apart from that, it would have sensing action that would be performed by some other agent. It's quite possible. We can see that in the left hand side, that we have a sensing action for agent 2. So once you have projected the solution out, we generate a new planning problem for each agent. And the goal is to execute its part in the team plan. But it will have to fill those gaps which were created due to projection on its own. Like in this particular case, agent 1 is going to have its own sensing action, which was done by agent 2 during the projection. Well, once you find the solution, you can see that these solutions are not aligned. To align the solution, we introduce some MOF actions that make sure that the joint push is happening at the same time, irrespective of whichever branch you are in. Well, if one of the agents fails to do so, we backtrack and we generate new team problem, and we make sure that we are not generating a team problem, team solution which we have already generated in the past. So this was the high level idea. So let's visit this problem again. And this is an important slide. We focus on these two problems. The problem one is, what if agent 2 cannot sense or cannot observe box 2? In that case, the question comes, can we generate a team plan like this? I would say yes. You just have to replace this particular sensing action by this action. Because observations are shared, once A1 will sense box 2, it is already going to pass this information to agent 2 as well. And you can generate a similar plan. The second question is, what if both agent 1 and agent 2 cannot observe this box? Well, in this particular case, QDEC F2 cannot find a solution because at least a minimum 2 agents would have to sense box 2. Fine. So let's see, we'll focus on problem 1 first. Why are we able to generate a similar plan 3? It is because QDEC F3 uses STR's translation, which is via CQR's planner. And STR translation adapts a knowledge-based translation, which was given in 2009 by Palacios and Kepner, which represents and reasons about the knowledge of the world and not the state of the world. Okay, so for team planning, multi-agent problems are modeled as single-agent contingent planning problems that treats if all the actions in the world are performed by a super agent and all the observations are sensed by this combined. Okay, so here are our contributions. We saw that we modify the way a team problem is solved, and this is done by augmenting the translation, and that captures and models the knowledge of individual agents. And reasoning about individual knowledge leads to a team plan which is more robust in a sense that it better accounts for the abilities of the agents. That we'll see in the experiments that this leads to fewer number of backtracks. And this reasoning also helps modeling communication, which we call signaling here. And we show that signaling helps solve some problems that were unsolvable, like problem 2. Okay, and the empirical evaluation. So let's see the specification of QDEC. QDEC form-DPs. So its components are set of agents, primitive propositions, individual action sets of the agents, precondition effect observation functions, initial belief state, and the goal propositions. And QDEC form-DP used by this particular specification is set of states, that is basically the truth assignments to the proposition of P. And then transition function, transition happens due to the joint actions. And joint action is a combination of single agent action, to be simple. And for a joint action vector A, and for a given phi I, agent phi I, the set of propositions that it could observe is P1 to Pk. And all the observations in the world are private. So let's come to SDR's translation one more. But this time, one more time. But this time we will go a bit deeper and formal. So for a given domain model, for each proposition, now the translation maintains two knowledge propositions, KP and K not P. And for a given action, each of its precondition and effect, P, would become KP. Means to apply an action, both P and KP should hold in the world. Well, what is the issue of considering a multi-agent planning problem as a single agent contingent planning problem? Because what SDR translation does is, it maintains a belief state that models a set of possible states for each agent. Means, irrespective of which agent takes an action, that action is going to have effect in this whole belief state. which means that if an agent phi I senses P and Kp holds for that, with the help of some inference action, the translation is going to easily deduce that Kp holds true for all the agents, which is exactly what is happening in the team plan which we saw. But in reality, this is inconsistent because agent would have to make sure this Kp holds by themselves. Okay, this brought us to agent-specific knowledge. Now, how we do that? We augmented the translation in a way that for each proposition P, we now maintain for each agent case phi I P and k phi I not P. And similarly, we change the precondition and effect of each action, which means to apply an action in the world, that agent must know that P and both P and k phi I P should be true. Okay. So effect of sensing action is known only to the sensing agent, which means now in the team plan, we are going to have all those required sensing actions. This modification at times we show that finds unsolvable problems faster because you are going to have less number of backtracks. Okay, so this leads us to one specific scenario. So let's consider this scenario. There are two agents, phi 1 and phi 2, such that phi 1 can observe P and phi 2 can observe K, and phi 2 cannot observe P. But there is an action that must be there in the T plan that should be executed by phi 2, and its precondition is P. If in that domain somehow P and Q are correlated or can be correlated, what QDEC FPS, which is our improved version of QDEC FP, is going to do is it is going to add a sensing action of phi 2 that would sense Q, and it would reason about P and solve the problem. So we'll see later how it works. So let's focus on problem 1, agent-specific knowledge. We would come to the same problem, agent 2 cannot sense box 2. Now we can see that we have generated another team plan, which is not similar to the one which we saw in the previous slides. And here we can see that A1 will have to introduce its own sensing action before it pushes with agent 3 in the right-hand side of the agent. Well, this makes a problem less abstract because now extra work is supposed to be done by some of the agents. They have to introduce their own sensing actions, of course. But this greatly reduces the need of backtrack. You will see that in the experiment. So this leads us to the experiment. Experiments are done in box pushing and table mover, and we have compared it with QDEC FP. And last year we showed that QDEC FP beats IMAP, which was the state of the art until 2018 on these domains. And IMAP has been shown that it scales much better than deformity solvers. So it's a fight between QDEC FP and QDEC FPS. And for these problems, which I have taken from the paper, and we show that with increasing number of agents and number of objects, FPS does quite good compared to FP. And with for some of the problems like B7, you can see that FP took 41 number of backtracks, while FPS just solves it without any backtrack in just 3.9 seconds. And some of the problems were unsolvable by QDEC FP. So I'll skip this. Just want to say that both the solvers produced almost similar size tree in the solution. So this brought us to signaling part, and here we are interested in knowing that is there a way agent 3 can let either agent 1 or 2 know the whereabouts of box 2, so that one of them could help agent 3 to push the box out of the grid. So this was the question. And we say that this is some sort of signaling, and we are not interested in explicit communication because of obvious reasons. So we'll see that if an agent phi I can sense P and phi I can set a variable Q that is like equivalent to P, in that case phi j can sense Q and reason about the value of P, and the problem is sorted out. Okay, so we want to note that phi I setting Q is not a restriction on a one particular branch, rather it's a restriction over a subtree below that observation P. And phi I makes sure that P and Q are correlated. In that case, phi I must act differently under different values of P because of obvious reason. I mean, it should have a reason to observe P when it is doing this low level agent individual level planning. To do so, we construct signaling macros as part of the subtree. Okay, so for given domain model, what we do is we pre-process the domain model and we look for a quadrupole of the form phi I, P, phi j, Q with the same restriction that phi I can only sense P, phi j can only sense Q, and phi I can somehow set P correlated to Q. For the simplification, we assume that there is just a single action that can change the value of Q, and it does not change any other proposition that can hurt other agents. Okay, so once you have figured out such quadruples, we augment the given domain model and we add the signaling macros in the domain specification. Well, these macros are some sort of sensing actions, but we would see that it changes the world also a little bit. So for such combination of signaling macro, we have two possible outcomes: either P and Q would true in one, and either P and Q would be true, or not P and not Q would be true, since P and Q are correlated. So let's focus on this particular domain. There is just one box, and only agent one can sense the box. And there is a light that can be correlated with the position of the box. So if box is inside, agent one is going to light the switch on the light, and agent two would sense that light and will figure out that box is inside, and they together would push it. And we can see that this problem is not solvable without signaling, without this thing. So in the team plan, we are going to see this macro, and we can see that in the right hand side, if box holds, there will be light, and if box doesn't hold, if box is not inside the grid, light is off. And agent phi 2 is going to sense light and it's going to deduce the position of the box, and they're jointly going to push the box. Well, we take this team problem and we post-process this team problem, and this is what is internally happening. So agent 1 senses the box. If the box is inside, it will switch on the light, and then the second agent will sense the light and would figure out that light and box are correlated, so box must be true also, and then they together will push. We change the way we project out this solution, and we say that agent 1 is basically switching on the light and pushing the box jointly with agent phi 2 only when there is box, and the agent 2 is behaving that way by sensing light. So this is how our projected tree for individual agent would look like. So I'll skip this because of time constraint, and we can talk about soundness and completeness offline. So this took us to the scalability part, and we have shown 4 problems. These problems were unsolvable without signaling, and we show that even if you are using signaling and the augmentation, the domain augment, the way we augment the knowledge of the agent, you still need backtracking. And these problems are only solvable by QDEC. Yes. So, any questions?